The Tobaski morning disaster. Fatou versus Alieu. Tailor Tobaski morning had finally arrived in Banjul. The streets were full of happiness. Children were taking pictures, goats were everywhere, and families were preparing delicious food. But one person was not happy. Fatou. After 3 weeks of excuses, her tailor still had not delivered her clothes. Very early in the morning, Fatou marched straight to Alieu Tailor's shop like a woman ready for war. "Alieu, open this shop now!" she shouted while banging loudly on the metal door. Neighbors started peeping through their windows, and even nearby goats became frightened by the noise. One neighbor tried calming her down, saying, Fatou, it's Eid morning. Calm down, small." But Fatou refused. "No calm today. Somebody must explain himself," she shouted angrily. A few minutes later, Alieu Tailor finally appeared, sweating heavily and carrying one suspicious plastic bag. Nervously, he smiled and said, "Sister Fatou, Eid Mubarak first." But Fatou immediately cut him off. "Forget Mubarak. Where are my clothes?" The entire street suddenly became quiet because everybody wanted to hear the tailor's explanation. Fatou quickly grabbed the package with excitement, but the moment she opened it, her smile disappeared instantly. "Why is this dress blue?" she screamed. Alieu froze with fear before quietly replying, "Blue is nice, nah?" Fatou became even more furious. "My fabric was green." An old woman watching nearby shook her head and said, "This tailor will not survive today." Unfortunately, the disaster was only beginning. Fatou decided to test the dress immediately, but the moment she tried wearing it, another problem appeared. "Hey! Why is this thing tight like pure water nylon?" she shouted while struggling inside the dress. The crowd burst into laughter. Trying to defend himself, Alieu nervously replied, "Maybe you added small weight." Immediately, the entire street went silent because every African man knows that is one of the most dangerous things to say to an angry woman. Fatou's eyes widened with shock and anger. "Are you calling me fat?" she screamed before chasing Alieu around the tailor shop. Customers jumped out of the way. Children screamed with excitement, and one sewing machine almost fell over during the chaos. People outside laughed loudly while some shouted, "Run, Tailor, run!" and "This one pass wrestling competition." Just when Alieu thought his life was finished, Binta, the apprentice, suddenly rushed into the shop carrying another package. "Boss, boss! I found Fatou's real clothes!" she shouted. Everybody froze in confusion. Fatou slowly turned around and looked at the tight blue dress she was still wearing. "Wait, so whose blue dress is this?" she asked nervously. Suddenly, a huge angry woman entered the shop shouting, "Who took my dress?" The entire crowd slowly turned to look at Fatou, standing there, trapped inside the tight blue outfit. The shop became completely silent before everyone burst into loud laughter. Meanwhile, Fatou could only look at the tailor with pure frustration as the screen froze dramatically. Will Fatou finally wear her real Tobaski outfit? Will Alieu survive another day? Find out in episode 3.